Welcome to the Other 99% podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Duck, a coffee-loving direct sales enthusiast who's obsessed with a good digital system. Come join me for a realistic look into the world of direct sales. We'll explore inspiring perspectives, learn about unique business tips, and celebrate success stories that often go untold. Because on the Other 99%, every seller matters. Hey everyone, it is me, Lisa, and we are back on the podcast. Welcome to our next episode of the Other 99%. And I am so excited that we have Jessica Kane here from Genie Chat. And if you guys have not yet heard of Genie Chat, you are going to want to listen in. So welcome, Jessica. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa.
I am so excited. I was just chatting before we hit record, and I told Jessica, it's like I listened to all of her stuff and she has some great advice. So I'm really excited for her to chat with us today. But let's start off because I love your story. So I would love for you to share with the listeners a little bit about Jessica and where you came from and how you came to discover or develop Genie Chat.
That was quite a road. Thank you so much for having me, by the way. I love the premise and the goal of this podcast and what you do every day and you've been doing for years. So I have so much respect for you. So that's a little shout out to Lisa, everybody. My tagline, I guess you could say the quick and dirty, is I'm from the trailer park to tech CEO. That's kind of how I say it. And I say it that way because I have so many times encountered people with a misconception that they thought I had like a master's degrees and contacts, like I must have these things in order to have done what I've done, right? And it's nope. Nope. I had the University of Figure It Out. So I have a PhD in the FIOU, the Figure It Out University. And I was a super nerd, had no creativity. I was not creative. I was in track and field and I was an athlete and I didn't know myself at all. And then I even got married young, got divorced young, moved to the big city, which for me from Portland was Portland, Oregon. And so I came from a trailer park in Oregon, by the way. So that's legit, a legit trailer park with all the cows in the pasture. So I just moved to the big city and then the internet became a thing. I got on MySpace and Lisa, boom, I was off. I mean, once I hit MySpace, something blossomed inside my brain. I was like, oh, I get this. I know how to do this. And I took all those things I had done from operations to purchasing, accounting, management, hire, fire. I had done so many different things and I was learning to code and I thought, what can I do with all this? And I started a magazine, a digital magazine. And it was for plus size fashion. And I was always my guiding North Star was to help people, especially women, feel more confident. It always hurts my heart because confidence is a choice. And I know most people are like, no, it's not. No way. It just is. And it's like, well, you can choose to be confident and choose to accept it as normal. And so even with the magazine and gosh, I've done so many businesses between then and now that I have Genie Chat. And it's all revolved around empowering women who feel forgotten, overwhelmed, not spoken for, not represented. And that's the passion behind Genie Chat as well. And why we say no seller left behind. So it's just, I'm on a crusade.
Yes. And I love that because my goal is to give a shout out to the everyday direct seller. And when I read your caption, no seller left behind, it's like, oh my goodness.
Right.
We are meant to do this podcast together because we are serving the same people.
That's right.
We want to make sure that everybody, like you said, feels empowered to do their good, whatever their good looks like.
Right. It's not about defining it. It's about saying the confidence is that super ingredient to achieve whatever it is you're dreaming you want.
Yes.
And one of the things back in the day was I wanted to be comfortable in a swimsuit, and I'm a plus size woman. Most people probably, I don't know if you can tell online or not, but I'm a big gal. And I went viral in a swimsuit once because I said, this isn't brave. And I had so many people go, oh, you're so brave. You're so brave. And I just get really fired up because women are told too often that they're so brave to start a business, to wear the swimsuit, to do the thing. And you're like, no, in fact, I was never supported or empowered. And it's not brave, it's me claiming my authority.
Exactly.
Like, this is what I was born to do.
I love that. I mean, I heard that. I heard you say that quote on another podcast that I was listening to, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my God, that is so true." Because I'm
Mhm.
I'm an introvert, and I think it's funny because probably people are sitting there like, "You're not an introvert. Like you're doing a podcast. How could you be an introvert?" But I somehow built the confidence, like you're talking, because you know, whether it's that screen that's helping me, I don't know
Mhm.
what it is, but I've built the confidence to go out there and share what I believe. It's coming from the heart. So I totally
Yep.
get what you're saying. It's like, we have to put ourselves out there to empower someone else,
For sure.
right?
And sometimes the power up, it's like a video game, like the best power up comes from helping your fellow person because then you're like, I mean, the best analogy is like if it was your daughter or son doing whatever, would you judge them or no, of
Mm-hmm.
course not. You'd be like, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing or you look amazing or whatever it might be. So it's,
So true.
being able to like actually cheer yourself on and not be perceived and not care that people perceive you to be salesy or pushy or bitchy or whatever, right? Because it's
Yeah.
not that. It's just you're doing something different and it's needed.
Mm-hmm. I know in my very first podcast, I shared about how when I started my journey in direct sales, I was like, why would somebody like this be like, why would somebody like me, I should say, be doing something like this? And it was funny because I felt that I could be someone else in front of people I didn't really know. So
Mm,
it's weird how we put that on us. Like, why do we have to be a certain way in front of the people who know us because they
mm,
expect us to be almost, right? So I love how you're saying, exactly like if our child did something like that, then we would say, oh, kudos. So we don't
yeah.
expect them to be anything. We want them to be their best. So why do
Just,
we think
yeah.
that other people are not wanting that for us, right? It's just weird.
Well, yeah. And those negative voices are always the loudest. And that couldn't be more appropriate than for a direct seller because all you hear, especially online. So talk about you feeling more secure to do your thing. Well, that also means that people who are just miserable feel more secure in judging you outline.
Hmm.
So it's like that give and take, but then you have to realize like it does not matter. Like in the scheme
Exactly.
of things, how does it affect you, your revenue, your family, your happiness? And it only like if you let it, it will, but it doesn't actually matter.
So true. Now, I was saying to you that I wanted to dig into Genie Chat a bit more. I need the
Mhm.
listeners to know a little bit about Genie Chat because I feel that a lot of direct sellers out there, when you tell them, fortune is in the follow-up, they're like, yes, you're right. It's in the follow-up from the sale. But I love how Genie
Yeah.
Chat focuses on the new relationship
Hmm.
building, bringing in the new customers. So, can you
Mm.
give us a deep dive into sort of what Genie Chat does and how it brings in the old and also retains the new? Or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Brings in the
Yeah.
new and retains the old.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Follow up. There's two types of relationships and communication, and you have transactional and you have relational. And we have all defaulted into transactional, like following up on the order, following up, did they like the sample? Follow up 2 months, the 222, which I think is
Hmm.
total BS. Don't get me started with 222. That worked back in the olden days, but online, no. Like you have to engage, 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 and not wait 2 months. But it's about follow up on the relational. And that means, oh, wait. So I commented on somebody's thing. I really got jazzed about them. They didn't reply back. And maybe I should go follow up and go say hi to something else or go, oh my gosh, did you see this? Maybe you left a question, and that follow up, it's hard work. And there's no
Hmm.
way around it. And Genie Chat is like a treadmill. and it doesn't work unless you use it. And it is meant to help you do the hard thing easier, not completely get rid of the hard work, because no matter which way you slice and dice it, we're in the conversation business, and you cannot sell and build a sustainable business without talking to people. And you got to keep track. You just got to keep track of that. Like when you have a conversation and you don't write a note down, and then you see them a month later and you forgot something, and then they bring it up and you're like, oh, I didn't know, you look ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because you have to have a system in place. And so I was very passionate about that, which is why Genie Chat, and like the name suggests, it's meant to make conversations easier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an automated system. And the first thing I get is like, oh, is it like Project Broadcast, And I was like, no, I love Project Broadcast. It's great for mass information delivery. But Genie Chat is the only thing built for the one-to-one delivery. And so it's one, you have one to many, one to a few, one to one. And Genie Chat is for your one-to-one. So it allows you to track your people. You can tag them, write notes, keep track of when you talk to them, put in their social channels. So you could one click, go find them, go talk, come back, boom, go to the next one, and really pound through your reach outs and your follow-ups in an intentional way, but still extremely efficiently. So that's the premise behind Genie Chat. And there's a lot of tools built around making that easier, like the keyboard, which replaces
Mm-hmm.
boards for some people. And then we have AI. And I built the AI to sound like a social seller, not like a crazy chat GPT robot, which is
Don't you
horrible.
love some of those responses that you get, and it's like, please change them, please,
I
please make them sound
know.
like you.
And like 28 prompts later, it might be close to what you want,
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I just build tools around that. And I also have a commitment to the 99% and
Mm-hmm.
making it affordable and never raising the price. There's no gotchas or none of that. It's unlimited everything for $9.99 a month. And
I
that's
love that. Yeah.
$9.99 a month. So yeah, I just wanted to make it affordable, and I don't need to charge more. I could, but I don't need to. And so that's my commitment to it.
And I love how, some of us, because let's face it, life's busy.
Yeah.
Life's busy. And I absolutely love how Genie Chat has the ability to send that notification reminder like, hey,
Mm.
it's time to do what you said you wanted to do.
I know. It's
Right?
like, you said you were going to do this. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, for those of us who may be forgetful at times, it's that good little nudge, like, come on, let's get it done, because we know if we get it
Yeah,
done, it's going to come back to us tenfold, right?
it
It's just a
will.
matter of getting it done. And for the longest time, Jess, I used to be the person who kept it all up here in my head.
Me too.
And,
I know.
and it gets to a point where it's like, you got to get it out of there because it becomes so jumbled
Yeah.
and everything. And I know that there's some people who have lists of paper on their desk, and I am
Yep.
like you. I just give me a nap because I I don't like paper. I don't like it all over my desk. I just want everything in my phone because I take my phone everywhere. And
Yeah.
Genie Chat, you can use both on your phone
Hmm.
or on your desktop, correct?
Yep. It's built natively for both. So it's not a different experience that feels weird or anything. So yeah, you can get on Apple and Android and the web version. And
Yep.
I think, like, I always tracked through spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. Like, I'm a spreadsheet gangster, Lisa. Like,
Uh-huh.
that's my jam. But a spreadsheet won't ping you when you have to do something. You can't sort the spreadsheet by, if you wanted to tag, you need a column for every tag, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have to sort every column. And I wanted 20 tags. I'm not going to have 20 columns. And it's like, what did I say at my last meeting? Oh, wait, what's their link to all the things? And then it's like you have all this information. It's such a big sheet. It doesn't even help you.
Yeah.
So then what I find is that we all resort to the algorithm to tell us who to talk to next.
Mm-hmm.
And that really, really is not the best way for your business. It helps Facebook's business
Mm-hmm.
or Instagram's, but your business is to talk to people strategically at key times consistently to build that relationship. And sometimes those people aren't on social,
And
or maybe they're not posting a lot, but they'll DM you all the time, but they post nothing. Okay.
mm-hmm.
How will you remember that girl in your DMs that never posts a thing because you'll never see her in your feed. It won't ping your brain,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where those instances where you use Genie Chat and then you set a reminder for yourself, like a recurring every week or every other week or whatever it is. Check back in with Angie in my DMs.
And I love that the link is there for you just to click and it will just
Yes.
go right in and you don't have
Uh,
to search or do anything. It's just like intuitive. Like, here we go. Let's do this, right?
yes, I wanted to make it as easy as possible, efficient.
Yeah. So let's dig in a bit because I know you have the snippet tool, which
Mhm.
is for those who know boards, it's like boards.
Yeah.
Um, but it's integrated with Genie Chat, which
Yeah.
makes it so much easier to use. So give us a little bit of
hmm
insight about the snippet.
Yes, the snippets, yeah, it's much like boards. And in fact, boards I think is a great tool for what you need. But I wanted the CRM side, but when you have a CRM, you also need your snippets. You need your
Hmm.
content with you in the same motion and not in a separate system, in a separate app, and it's all separate everywhere. So it's the same thing. You have folders of content, unlimited folders, PDFs. You can upload your videos. You can upload a link. You can upload most, bulk images, all the stuff that if you're used to boards, you can do the same. If you're not used to boards and you don't know what we're talking about, you are gonna be in for the ride of your life. It's like magic. Like when you try out a content keyboard for the first time, it's as if you're like, where have I been? I've been in the dark ages in a cave, and it's like the best thing ever. So it's really technically called text replacement. And so, if you're typing you're on your phone, it's a mobile thing. So on your phone and you're talking to your DMs and someone asks for the Zoom link, you're like, you're like, oh God, I gotta go find the Zoom link for the week call. Maybe your Tuesday all call. Well, who has all that at their fingertips? No, you go to Zoom, you go to the thing, you hit the cop, you do all this work to find your Zoom link. Well, what's great about a text replacements keyboard on your phone is you can switch from like emojis, Bitmojis, Giphies, right? But now you can also do a Genie Chat and find your Zoom link, and all you gotta do is tap it once and it pastes everything for you.
Hmm.
So it's just, if you're new to the keyboard life, it's the best.
It is a life changer because, like Jess just said, it's like you're you're looking for all this content, and
Yeah.
how many times, and I know there's going to be people who relate to this. You think something as simple as your website and
Yes.
you type it in all the time. And then if you're like me,
Oh.
you get a typo in there because
hmm
let's face it, guys, when you type duck on a keyboard, it typically does autocorrect to something else. So how many times have I sent that out with the wrong words in there? And it's like, oh my goodness. But when I have my the ability to use the keyboard, it's like
Yeah.
just click there and I know it's gone out perfectly.
hmm
So, but I also love that on the Genie Chat website that you have so many
hmm
free resources where you're actually giving
Oh yeah.
people like the snippet tools like
Oh yeah.
preloaded.
Yeah. That was actually when I started, I was super passionate. I was like, nobody wants to start with a blank keyboard. And that's when you really see the magic and it helps you figure out, oh, they could do this, they could do that. And a lot of people don't have an upline that's so awesome to give them anything,
Mm-hmm.
talk about the 99%.
Yep.
You don't have you have no one to really go to, which is why we have, thankfully, you, Lisa, and resources and people like you that help. So I preload, it comes preloaded. You get the Genie Chat keyboard, fresh account. I created snippets for you guys for follow-ups, for thanking people for engaging on your stories or your whatever. I gave lots of different iterations of ways to start communication it's not industry specific because it doesn't have to be. You're just
Mm-hmm.
talking to a person, you're being a person. So it's like, the world is your oyster. So it's preloaded for you, which is kind of cool.
And the great thing is that I don't think you touched too much on it, but you have a lot of direct sales experience. So it's
Yeah.
like you know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Like you've been around the block a couple times when it comes to talking to people. So I mean, to get all that content preloaded from you is like
Mm.
hitting the gold mine, right? It's like you have all that at at the push
Yeah.
of a button. It's there ready for you to use.
Yeah.
So,
It just like helps get your brain going, you know?
mhm.
Sometimes you just need, you're like, I even myself, I write a lot. I think I'm a pretty good writer, yet I can't tell you how many times I'll go to the Genie Chat AI and go, tell me how to write a post about this. Like I just, my brain is fried. And I think all of us are probably feeling fatigue when it comes to that. And then we overcomplicate it and then we bungle it or we get paralyzed.
Yes.
So the little snippets that are preloaded are purposely super short, super simple, call to actions, like ask questions and just get your brain going, you know. And I think my favorite part, another reason I built Genie Chat was for myself, was I needed search. I can't tell you how many times, because if you have a team and if you join a board, but we call
Hmm.
it a folder, if you join a folder that has tons of other folders, how are you going to know where something is?
Hmm.
You have no clue. You didn't build the thing. So it's like joining someone's Dropbox. Good luck with that. So you got to search, right? And so, yeah, I was like, that was a non negotiable for me. And my team was like, non negotiable. I need
Hmm.
search on the keyboard, on my phone, in the moment, and
Yes.
everywhere else. So,
That's awesome. Now, I know what I love about you is that you love to offer up free training for
mhm,
people.
yeah,
And you have such a valuable Facebook group. Can you share a little bit about that and where people can find you? Because even if they're not a Genie Chat user, I mean, that information in there can be used by them, which I
gold.
absolutely love.
Yes. And that's the point. I mean, a lot of the times we'll get users who just aren't there in their business, even for the $10 a month, which I totally get.
Hmm.
And I always tell them go to the group and just start using the free resources. You don't need Genie Chat. You can, I want to pour into people to help them get the extra $100 a month that they need, like
Hmm.
whatever it is, right? And so I actually have this thing like on the website, it's called Freebie Central. And I just love building all these tools like, gosh, I have AI prompt downloads. We have a download for 400 icebreaker snippets.
Hmm.
And I even did industry specific ones. So it's a lot. And gosh, oh, how to make friends, like a make friends map, like a
Yes,
map
I
on when
seen
to,
that.
like I put red light, stop. Okay, do not go to the next, intersection till this happens, And then the group is just really incredible. It's fairly new and it's been growing really well. And I just love the community there. And it's so great to have a Facebook group to be able to do that. And everyone is just so supportive, so excited. And there's nothing better than seeing people win that most people, like these people are not like probably getting shout outs from the big leaders and their
Hmm.
teams or whatever. But we are a community of sellers where everyone matters. And
Hmm.
so you get a voice in that community. And it's really cool.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that I link it in the show notes so that people can find and join the group because, like I said, it's gold. There, the information in there, and you bring in guest speakers all the time,
Mm.
and I absolutely love that the information, like you said, is available because not everybody can at this
Yeah.
present time put that money in
Yeah.
to the training that they need to grow their business, but everybody
Yeah.
deserves to have access to it.
Right.
Totally 100% believe in that.
I wish I could. It's so funny. I wish so much I could do more. And I want to do one-on-one coaching and I want to do all those things. But then I also have to remember, like, there are so many incredible coaches out in this world, like, that I'm like, do we need another?
Yeah.
But I'm here just to like be that bridge for that people that want to hop to that level so they can afford their coach someday.
Yes,
And those people are not cared about enough. They're not talked about enough and they're not supported enough. And you know what? They have a home
they
in
do.
Genie Chat.
They do. All right. So now I always like to ask our guests, is there one quote or a couple quotes you could give, whatever you'd like, or tips that you think that, every direct seller really needs to hear?
That's such a great question. I have two, and I have to share the first one because it's funny, but it's literally the truth. I actually taught my son very young in life, like this is legit, is never accept the first offer. Never. I can't tell you how many people just accept the first offers and things. Like, it's wild to me. And maybe it might not pertain to your direct sales. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just in life, like when you have to go do other things. But just like that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But with selling and entrepreneurial, endeavors, I would say there's a whole lot of dreamers, not enough doers. Like everyone can dream, not everyone will do.
I
And
love that.
that's the difference between hitting whatever mark you're trying to go after. And it's not another, webinar funnel. It's not another, it's not, I think we have inspiration overload and we're
Mm-hmm.
all inspired 24/7. It feels so good. That's like watching like Peloton videos and going, yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, watching them from your couch, right?
Yes, exactly. But I've been challenging you is just get on the treadmill. Just take a step and just do it slowly. Like baby steps are still steps. And if your baby step is, and my keyboard, by the way, is only $3.99.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's just a keyboard, get the keyboard so then you can actually have conversations and some words to help you out. And then force yourself to do 10 convos a day or 5 or 3. But it's like forcing yourself out of that. Do the thing, take the step, no matter how hard it is, because it'll always be hard until you get it done. Then it's like, oh, it gets easier and easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
exactly. Building that habit and just having that resource there to help you so that you don't have to use, I always say like using all the brain power takes up so much of your energy and then
yes.
you have no more energy left to do anything else. So if you're using all the
Hmm.
preloaded stuff, like even you can go in there and put your own words in
Hmm.
the snippet tool so that you can use it again and again and again. Because how many times have you sent the same or similar messaging to about 20 or 30 people, and then all of a sudden you're in Facebook jail because you're doing your copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, whereas when it's coming from your keyboard, it's not generating that
Hmm.
that copy paste function.
Yeah.
So Facebook doesn't recognize it as a threat, right? So I love that part of it. And I don't think a lot of people
Facebook.
realize that. It's like, yeah, and we won't get on the topic of Facebook with all the changes coming there. It's like
Oh Lord, that's a whole nother thing.
we
I mean,
really need
and
to get our business in our own hands, right?
that is the truth. And you know what? That's another reason with the CRM. You can work for 5 companies and they can each have their own apps and they each have their own CRMs, but you need to own that data and those relationships. You need to have it in your hands, yours. And with Genie Chat, there's no company saying what you can and can't do with it. So you could put all your people in there, tag them by whatever company you know them through, get
Mhm.
their, emails and stuff, have them do a self-service. We have a self-serve form, make them fill it all out for you and make sure you own that info because you never know what could happen, right? You got to have it.
Yeah, I can, when you sit there and think, it's like, can you imagine what would happen if all of a sudden just Facebook just
Mm.
went away? I know that there's a number of people who rely on that as
Yeah.
sort of their CRM, right? It's like I have
Yeah.
everybody in my messenger chat. It's
Yeah.
like I'll just go there and find them, and it's like I know that
uh,
it's funny because I know of some people who have lost their Facebook account or their
yeah.
social media account, and they're like sending messages to the odd person. Okay, I don't know how to get in touch with so and so. So can
Oh
you send a
gosh.
message to them? And it's like we don't know how to talk to people anymore. Like we don't have emails
No.
or phone numbers or anything like that. We rely on social media. So if we could get
Yeah.
as much information as we can into Genie Chat, then we never run into that situation of wondering what
No.
happens to our business if, because we just never know what's going to
Right?
happen.
And all the information just stuck in that messenger that like you can't get out,
Hmm.
whether it's like a birthday, oh, their phone number or their mailing address or whatever it is. So I definitely encourage you, like anyone to, I don't care if it's a Google form, whatever you have to do if you can't afford Genie Chat, but get the information from your people for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah. All right, Jess. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. Can you, before we close off, just tell people where can they find you on social?
Uh, what's my I'm Jessica Kane on Facebook. I'm mostly on Instagram stories. I really love Instagram stories. I'm obviously an older millennial. But really Instagram, Facebook is where to find me. And in the Genie Chat Facebook group, I'm there a lot and pouring into the community. So that's a great place to find me too.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you once again, and thank you everyone for tuning in. I know that you have taken a lot from this chat between Jess and I, and trust me, try it out. You have a 7-day trial, right, with Genie Chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So give it a try and see if it suits your needs. And I honestly feel that once you get in there and use it, you're going to see huge growth in your business because once we start connecting with people,
Mhm.
that's how our business grows. So I'll wrap it up for today, everyone. And thank you for joining me and Jessica. And like I always say, if you have a few minutes, take some time to rate and review the podcast. We're just getting started. We have so many awesome guests on the list to still interview. So stay tuned and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, Jess. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast or know someone who would make a great guest, visit lisaduck.com and click the link to be a guest.